Welcome to week 2 of the January Pantry Challenge. If you're new here, my name is Lisa and this is Sutton's Days, and we are all about pantry preparedness. Yes, we are, because it is the best insurance that money can buy. It truly is. Now that we've gotten past week 1, right? The inventory. Oh, the dreaded word, the inventory. Going through and taking note of every single thing that you have in your pantry. And I mean, that's everything from freeze dried to dehydrated to spices to dried goods to canned goods to home canned goods to your freezers. The whole kit and caboodle, okay? You don't know what you need unless you know what you've got. It's that simple. So now that we've done that, it's time to move on and declutter and organize. And we're going to help you do that. Each day, we're going to tackle specific tasks. You don't have to do these one day at a time. If it's easier for you to do a few at a time, or if it's easier for you, if you haven't inventoried yet, to do it along with that, you can do that too. Don't let it overwhelm you, though. The purpose of this is to help you get organized in your pantry, because once you get organized, it's a little easier to stay that way sometimes, and it's easier to keep control of what you have and rotate it in and out the way that you're supposed to. I've had many conversations, typically at least one a week, of why would I use what I saved so much money when I bought? Why would I use that now when I know I'm going to pay more? Because when you replace it in the future, you're still going to pay a whole bunch more. And it's not put on the shelf to just stare at, okay? It is put on the shelf to use. So you will save money using the stuff that you bought yesterday, today. And when you replace it tomorrow, you'll still save money the day after by replacing what you bought tomorrow. It's never going to be as cheap as it was. So it's just part of the fact of life. You are not doing anybody, especially yourself, a favor by letting that sit on the shelf, because it can go bad. Accidents can happen, things can happen, okay? So rotate it in and out. It's really important. And the best way to do that is to, one, inventory. That was last week. And this week, we're going to declutter and organize. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this room can get a little chaotic. And if you don't have a room, it can get even more chaotic, right? So it's time to figure it all out and make it work. Let's get started. Number 1, clear out and dispose of any stale items. Dispose of them responsibly, you know. If you've got livestock that'll eat them, that can eat them safely, give it to them. They don't care if it's stale. Most of your best buy dates are just that, best buy. They're still not expired. They're good for a really long time. Truly expired things, yeah, it's time to let them go. If you can compost them, compost them. If you can't compost them, get rid of them, okay? It doesn't do anybody any good keeping food that you can't eat around, especially if it's going to make you sick. So you want to do that. Go through your pantry, remove any expired or stale items, dispose of them properly, and then, make room for what? For replacing them, okay? So canned goods that are past their expiration date, and truly an expiration date, okay? Or dried fruits or anything like that. Things that have potentially become moldy. Did you find a jar that unsealed? Anything like that. If the jar doesn't look good, whether it's commercial or home canned, then it's time to make it gone. Better safe than sorry, okay? So clearing them out not only ensures that you have safe food, because that's super important, usable food, because again, that's why we do this, okay? It also reduces the clutter. Clutter's a huge problem. If you look around in the new year, new year, new me, and one of the big things is decluttering, because we have a tendency, especially in this country, of collecting a bunch of crap that we don't need, that we don't use, that it made us feel good for about 30 seconds when we bought it, and that's about where it stopped. So literally, if you haven't touched it, you're likely not going to. I bought this because I thought that we would eat a whole bunch of this, and it turns out that we maybe have one meal a year with it. You know what? Then it doesn't do you any good, does it? So save a couple and give the rest of it to the food pantry or somebody that you know, or something to that extent. So you want to go through and you want to make sure that what you have is usable. You're going to clear it out. Number 2, I love this, okay, because this is kind of where I'm having to look at redoing this in a more effective way, because it has expanded to such an extent. Organize your shelves by category and frequency of use. Frequency of use is a big one, okay? I've told you, we eat a lot of chicken. We eat a lot of chicken. So the chicken I have right here up top because I know I'm in and out of that 365. So it's easy access. I can get to it. The stuff that we don't use as much starts going on the lower shelves. And then the stuff that we barely use goes up top. I've got, half of this shelf is things like pie filling. I don't make a lot of pie. Yeah. And I kind of went overboard on pie filling. So, that's all over there. But now I'm starting to put proteins over here because I'm out of room. It's just got to happen. So, like the soup that I canned up the other day, that's actually up on this shelf, which then got me to thinking, okay, well, I've got soups over here too, but they're kind of scattered in between the vegetables. Okay, Lisa, pull a table in, pull some jars off. Let's get it organized and let's put all the soups in one place because then Phil will know where to find the soups. And it just makes it easier if like things are by like things. Okay. So organize your pantry shelves by category. First, kind of like I have the quadrants here. Okay. You want to do grains, proteins, canned goods, etc. So I've got my grains, I've got my freeze dried, I've got my commercial, I've got my home canned, I've got my sundries, for the paper plates, that kind of thing. So you want to do that. And then you want to do within those quadrants, frequency of use. So yes, this is my protein shelf with the exception of the pie filling. So this is my protein shelf. So the ones that I use the most are going to be the most easy to access. The ones that I use the least are going to be lower, farther back, farther in, whatever the case may be. It just makes more sense if you can easily acquire what you use the most often. You want to place your daily use items like cooking oils, spices at the front. I have this whole thing right here that is totally visible with all of my spices and stuff on it because that's what I need to access, on a fairly regular basis to either refill or to use in the kitchen, for whatever I'm cooking. Organizing by category, really cool, ensures that you know exactly where everything is. So hey, I need some grains. I'm not going to go in there and go through this shelf, right? I'm going to go in there. I'm going to go to that back corner over there. That's where my grains are. That's where my beans are, is on that shelf. That's where my freeze dried is. Because if you have to look willy nilly all over the place, you're going to waste a lot of time, get frustrated, go to the store. I kid you not. People go to the store instead of having to look for something because they don't know where it's at in here. Number 3, my friends, implement a first in, first out system. Don't care what you call it, don't care how you do it, okay? But making sure that the stuff that you have to use first with the earliest expiration or best buy date is up front. And then the stuff with the newest date that you just bought goes in the back. Now, I get a lot of questions about, well, Lisa, I'd have to pull everything here out in order to put the new behind it. Yeah, you do. It's just the way that it works. So, first in, first out systems will save you money and they'll save you time. And it's another opportunity to double check at least that category to make sure that everything is fine and nothing has been compromised. Big. That's really big. Okay. If you buy new cans of beans, place them behind the cans of beans that are already sitting there. It's that simple. It helps you prevent food waste. Seriously, that's a big one, okay? Because nobody's spending this money or putting this amount of time in to throw it in the garbage. So it will help you save money in that you are not wasting food. Every time you throw food in the trash, you have wasted that food. While I am trying to figure out how I'm going to reorganize this so that it works for my brain, because my brain's different than your brain. It is. Your brain's different than the person next to you. So you have to make it work for you. That's key. Don't take my way of doing it, okay? Unless it works for you, unless it resonates with you. Because if it's not something that really resonates with you, you're not going to keep it up, and you'll just cause yourself more frustration working forward. This is your pantry. It's not brain surgery, and it should not be a stressor, okay? You just want to make sure that what you're doing is effective, efficient, and frugal. One of the best ways to do that is to label things, okay? No matter what it is, label them. Now, not only do I have the jars labeled, that's important, but I have actually gone to the point of putting on the shelf a label so that anybody that walks in here, I can go, hey, go into the pantry, the first shelf here on your right, and read the labels, and it'll tell you what it is. Get me a jar of that. It makes it easier to do a quick scan. Let's say you have a few different kinds of soups, but by looking at the jars, you're like, which one is that? Do you really want to have to go pull them down one by one to find the one that you're thinking you want? No, label the shelf. Super simple. Now, I have a label maker. I love my label maker. Okay. But before that, I was using 3x5 cards. I would fold them in half, put the half flat on the shelf and put a jar on top of it, right? But have the name of whatever that row was or whatever that shelf was on the front of the card. It works. You find the method that works for you, whatever it is, and then you can move them around. You can do your do. So labels make a big difference in ease and convenience and efficiency. It also helps you keep better track. So you know that what was in that blank spot. I can't remember what I had in that blank spot. Oh, you had chicken. Okay, why do you know that it was chicken? Because the label says that it was chicken. Game changer, big game changer. Number 5, okay, is grouping similar things together. Now, this is what I was just talking about with the soups. I have all my protein here, but now I've had to put soup up on this shelf, which in my mind is just going to make me forget about them, So I'm going to start putting all the soups together and then all the vegetables together and then all the meats together, go from there. I don't can a lot of fruit, so it's not something I have to worry about. But if you do, you do put them all together and it just makes life easier. So these are all my home canned. I do the same thing over on my commercially canned, my commercially bought stuff. Okay. It's just a good idea to keep similar things in similar spaces, makes life a lot easier. Grouping similar items makes it easier to find when you need it quickly. Who's got time to hunt? Nobody's got time to hunt. Okay. So it also helps you spot which categories need more attention because sometimes life happens. Life happens all the time, every single day, 24/7. And sometimes it will just trip you up enough and you're going, guess what? I'm almost out of salsa. God forbid. Okay, but I'm almost out of salsa. I'm almost out of baked beans. I'm almost out of tuna fish. Whatever. The organization will reduce time spent searching for any particular items and it'll help you maintain an efficient pantry. It's not hard. It's not rocket science, my friends, okay? And it's not something that replaces a full-time job. It just takes a little effort. It's kind of like remembering, after you do it for a little while, it's like brushing your teeth. You get up in the morning, you brush your teeth. So you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, and, you do it. You go into the pantry and you move things around, and, it just happens that you put it the way it's supposed to be so that it's more efficient. It's a great thing. It's a great thing to spend week number 2 on. While you're in here doing all this fun stuff, oh boy. Okay. Deep clean pantry shelves, removing dust and any spills that might have occurred. Hopefully there are no spills that occurred. Okay. But going through and dusting, it'll make you feel better about life. It really will. You want to remove all the items from the shelf. So bring in a little portable card table or something and give them a thorough cleaning. Okay. Just wipe them all down. Those Clorox cleanups, that kind of thing. They're great for that. Remove any dust, any crumbs, any spilled food. Wipe down shelves. Make sure everything is dry and sanitary. This also gives you an opportunity to check for guests, uninvited guests. Not only is a clean pantry more pleasant to work with, right? I mean, nobody's going to want to go and mess with something that's like, but it also helps you maintain the freshness of your food and prevents any kind of contaminations that can occur. It's a good thing. It's a good practice to do on a fairly regular basis. And if you're like me, we heat with wood. My constant battle is dust. So I have to get in here. Otherwise, this would look like a horror movie from the 1950s. Last but not least, okay, you want to reorganize based on your usage for maximum efficiency. So if you are only using Jell-O once every couple of months, okay, put it on a bottom shelf. Make sure it's in something that you can identify for ease and use, but that should be something that's put away where you just, don't have to look at it every single time you're trying to find something you literally use every single day. I'm going to give you a great example of this, okay? A few years back, after I had done a pantry tour, I think it was one of the last pantry tours that I did, um, I woke up in the morning and I went to make coffee, and there were no coffee filters in the kitchen. And so I went into the pantry because I have coffee filters. The way I drink coffee, you bet I have coffee filters, right? Could not find them anywhere. Ended up talking to Charlie, one of our dazers, and in the morning going, I have to go get coffee filters. Oh my gosh. And she's like, why? They're on that end shelf, second shelf from the top, blah, blah, blah. She goes, it was in your last pantry thing. And I went, what? And I went in there and they had fallen behind whatever was in front. So I didn't see them when I went looking. Okay. Now they have a dedicated space where they are fronted just like everything else. Who worked retail back in the day? So they're fronted just like everything else is. So they're always visible because we never want me to believe that I don't have coffee or coffee filters or, any of that fun stuff. So reorganize your pantry according to your most commonly used patterns. I mean, you've got a pattern whether you recognize it or not. Now's a good time to see if you can find it. For example, place frequently used items at eye level and less used items at higher or lower level. It just makes the most sense. By reorganizing based on usage, you can optimize your pantry for quick access and efficiency. It really is amazing. It's a game changer, okay? It minimizes unnecessary bending. Those with bad backs, you get me, don't you? I know. And stretching, and it saves time when you're cooking. If you're in the middle of something and you go, oh yeah, I forgot to grab that out of the pantry. Do you really want to spend 10 minutes trying to find it? No, you do not. It also helps to maintain a system that works for you because you are the one in there, so you are the one that has to make a system that works for you. That's the most important. It reduces the frustration and the waste. So definitely, this is something you want to do. That's week 2. That's week 2 in a nutshell. If you haven't inventoried yet, you can easily do these steps right along as you inventory. It's pretty easy. Might take you a couple days, depending, worst case scenario, on your situation. In here, it's going to take me about an afternoon to go through, double check again, and put a few things away that have come in the interim because I've been busy. So I've just been dropping it, It happens. Drop and go, drop and go, drop and go. And, I've been out of commission for a couple months. So now's the time for me to get back in here and make it happen and do it while Phil's here so that he can lift the 5-gallon buckets that I'm still not allowed to lift. It'll all be great. It'll all work. Will it be the end of the world if I don't accomplish it by Friday? No, it won't. It won't. But it'll happen and it'll be nice. And then moving forward into gardening season, I'll have a better grasp on exactly what's going on. How organized is your pantry? Have you gone in and decluttered and organized? It's a big step. It's a daunting step to some people. Don't let it scare you. Don't let it freak you out. Just do what you can when you can, and it'll all be great. You have to make everything about the pantry work for you. So don't be afraid of it. Don't run the other direction. Procrastination, I hear you. I get it. I do. Let me know in the comment section down below, what kind of system works best for you in your pantry? Do you have quadrants? Do you have certain things put in the closet, certain things under the bed? What works for you in your pantry? I'd love to hear how you organize it, and you may inspire somebody else who may not be looking at something like I'm sitting in, but may have something closer to your situation. If you want to check out more things on pantries, check out this playlist right here. And until next time, everybody, be safe, stack it to the rafters, my friends.